Yo, what's good, y'all? Hope y'all having a blessed day today. Welcome back to ETD React. It's your boy, Brother Dave, and y'all, I got a video about the future today. So this is actually a lady who sent her, her testimony in to this other brother whose channel this video is on, and she basically had a prophetic dream about the future, the tribulation, more specifically, the mark of the beast. So without further ado, I'm going to just hop straight into this video, and the link to the original video will be in the description below. So let's check this out.
Hi, sir. I really thank God for coming across your channel about 4 months ago. The testimonies shared have always blessed me and opened my eyes to many spiritual truths. More grace, sir. When we hear of the Antichrist, many people think it's a reality that will crystallize in 100 years to come. Such assumptions are wrong. The Antichrist is already here, sir. God revealed to me one of their satanic agenda, and I sincerely pray that people, especially believers, read this to the end to understand how this is meant to be executed. My name is Yvette Clayton. God showed me this vision on the 9th of July. I woke up that morning feeling a heavy sense of unease that I couldn't quite put my finger on. It was an ordinary day, but something in my spirit felt unsettled. I had an important trip scheduled for the following day. As I moved about the day, finalizing the little details, packing my bag, checking my ticket, and confirming with my sister, the heaviness in my heart remained. That evening, as I prayed, I asked God for protection and guidance. I didn't know why I felt such a burden. My mind was already thinking if it was a danger signal. The next morning, I made my way to the airport. As I settled into my seat, weariness overtook me, and I felt myself drifting. But as I slipped into the state of rest, something extraordinary began to happen. In what felt like the blink of an eye, I found myself no longer seated on the plane. Instead of the rows of seats and the murmur of other passengers, I was now standing in the middle of a city street. All around me, people were gathering in lines, stretching down the street. Suddenly, a new scene was showcased before me. It was as if I had been transferred into a vast, high-ceiling conference room filled with officials, each dressed in dark suits.
That's wild.
A large screen was mounted on the wall behind them, displaying diagrams and charts in bold, clinical colors, and displayed the side is the year 2025. At the head of a long table stood a man addressing the room. He seemed to be explaining something crucial, a new policy, one that would soon shape the lives of everyone beyond the walls of this meeting. On the screen, an image of a tiny metallic chip appeared. It was so small, almost invisible to the eye, and shaped like a grain of rice. The man referred to it as the Nano ID chip, a device that he explained would be implanted directly into each person's forehead, just under the skin. He pointed to diagrams that illustrate how the device would operate. It was designed to carry personal identification data, health information, banking details, and even a record of government permissions and approvals. The man continued to reveal, explaining that this new mandate was the result of a national security measure intended to streamline and safeguard the identification process. We live in an age, he said, where fraud, unauthorized access, and inefficiencies must be eliminated. This chip ensures every citizen is accounted for, every record is accurate, and no one slips through the cracks.
On the screen,
more images flashed. Banks, hospitals, stores, government buildings. With each image, a caption appeared outlining the requirements for entry. Nano ID required. The man spoke confidently as he outlined how the policy would work, revealing how, with the chip, citizens will have seamless access to essential services. Every bank will require a forehead scan to allow entry. Hospitals will scan each patient to verify eligibility for care. Every store, every pharmacy, and every public building will have a scanner at the door. Only those with a valid Nano ID will be granted entry. It became clear that this policy was not optional. For those who choose not to comply, the man let the House know that individuals who refuse the Nano ID will be automatically excluded from all forms of public and private services. They will be denied access to bank accounts, unable to receive medical treatment, and barred from purchasing goods.
So you're basically off the grid.
This is a new standard of national identification, and refusal will not be tolerated. At that moment, I realized the depth of deception. This was not about security or efficiency. It was about control. This tiny device held the power to track, monitor, and restrict every individual, and yet people were accepting it without a second thought, lured by the reassurance that it was merely a convenient update to identification systems. I then saw something unbelievable. What shocked me the most was how quickly people were lining up to take it, almost without question. I watched as crowds gathered outside numerous centers that had been set up for this purpose. The buildings were plain, almost sterile, with banners posted outside, assuring everyone that this mark was just a modern improvement to the old forms of identification. As I continued watching, my heart grew heavier. Everyone seemed caught up in the kind of trance, too willing to accept this change without asking the real question: why is this chip necessary? What's the true purpose behind it? What are we giving up? As I continued to watch, the harsh reality of the new system became painfully clear. Anyone who refused a chip was immediately cut off, facing severe consequences at every turn. I saw people walk up to a bank hoping to access their own money, only to be met with cold, blank stares from the tellers and firm instructions to leave. Without the chip, they couldn't withdraw a single dollar, couldn't even ask a question. No exceptions were made, no explanations given, just a firm refusal. In stores, the situation was just as bleak. People who had come to buy groceries, often with children in tow, were stopped at the entrance by security guards holding scanners. If a person didn't have the chip, they were told to leave immediately, forced to turn and head home empty-handed. I watched as parents pleaded, explaining that they needed food for their families, but their words fell on deaf ears. Each time, the security personnel would simply gesture them away as if they didn't matter. Hospitals, too, had adopted the same strict policy. I witnessed desperate scenes, people in visible pain, some even needing emergency care, rushing to the entrance only to be blocked by hospital staff with scanners. A mother carrying a young child in her arms tried to enter, her full face of fear and worry. But the scanner's red light blinked, signaling that she didn't have the chip. She begged for help, her voice thick with panic, but the staff stood firm, shaking their heads and pointing her backward toward the exit. Her cries, like those of so many others, were drowned out by a cold, unyielding system, a system that had no compassion, no humanity. What hurt the most was seeing how the policy affected the church. Many Christians had been deceived into taking this mark, falsely believing it was harmless. Others who had resisted were left to struggle, isolated from the rest of society. The church buildings that remained open required a chip for entry, and countless believers were locked out, unable to gather in worship or even receive pastoral support. And then, as suddenly as I entered this vision, I was back on the plane, my hands trembling. The stewardess walked past, offering drinks as though nothing had happened, but I knew I had witnessed a reality that could very well unfold in the world around me. I'm sharing this experience with every believer who reads this. I urge you, my fellow brothers and sisters, to become serious with God, to prepare spiritually, and to be vigilant. Pray fervently for America and for all nations, that such evil plans will not prevail. Strengthen your relationship with God and seek His wisdom, for the days ahead are filled with trials that require unshakable faith. God has shown us the dangers of deception, and now is the time to pray without ceasing, to seek God's protection and wisdom. May this vision serve as a warning and a call to faithfulness in the days to come.
Wow, y'all. So y'all have seen it for yourself. So, y'all, this is the world we live in. This future specifically that this lady is talking about, this is a very possible, a very likely, a very just not, this is not fiction. You know, whether you want to not believe it, you know, and be like, oh, she's just making this stuff up for clout, she's just making up a story, yada yada yada, whether you want to stick your head in the dirt and just ignore it or not, this is the world that we live in. This is the future coming to us. This is the mark of the beast, y'all. We're living in Revelations. This stuff is real, and it's, you know, even if it doesn't look like it right now, we have to understand the baby steps. Because here's the thing. First, it's a convenience thing. First, I mean, think about how on our on our iPhones, we got our Apple Wallet, we got our ID, our bank cards, our plane tickets, our medical stuff. Oh, it's convenient. It's all on my phone. I don't need my wallet. I just carry my phone around. I get everywhere I need with my phone, and it's convenient. Be like, oh, better yet, you can get a chip in your head or in your hand, and you get all that stuff. Plus, I forgot what other stuff that I didn't already just mention. And it starts off as a convenience thing. And, you know, it just imagine, it may sound wacky, but imagine celebrities promoting it, politicians promoting it, influencers influencing people to get this. You know, that's going to cast a really big net, and a lot of people are going to get this. But the people who don't get it, first is convenience, then it's you're forced to. The second phase is, oh, now you can't get groceries without it. Now you can't go access your bank account without it. Now you can't go to a hospital without it. I mean, you take these things away from people. You can't get food, medical, money. Then now suddenly this is a pretty serious deal here. It's not just, oh, I can't access my bank. You know, it's not a light ball game. You know, this is escalated. I mean, think about when COVID happened. You know, that's just a warm-up. You know, I don't know how it was in certain parts of the country or in other countries. You know, I know for me in Louisiana, it wasn't too bad, you know, but I've heard in other countries that you literally couldn't go into restaurants, you couldn't go to the airport, you couldn't do stuff unless you had the vaccine card. Now imagine that same thing applied to this. And it's a control mechanism. And they want to not only control us, but also monitor us. Now in China, they have the social credit score. I don't know if y'all have heard of the social credit score, but it's basically, in a nutshell, in my ignorant brain, it's the government keeping track of all their citizens and basically ranking their compliance, you know, how well they're complying with the standards, and, you know, are they a rebellious type of person? Are they against the government? Things like that and more. That's just from my understanding about it. But it's the same type of thing. They're going to be tracking all of us. And if you're a free thinker and you're not falling for this, then the government's going to know. They're going to have you on a whole list. They're going to have a whole list of people that don't have it, that aren't bots. You know, I mean, so y'all, this stuff is very likely. And this is Revelation 13 right here. So he causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. So he's talking about the beast, you know, the Antichrist, getting everyone. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're working at McDonald's or if you're working at Exxon, you know, making millions of dollars or whatever. Causes everyone to get the beast, so that no one may buy or sell except the one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So yo, this is where we're at right now. And then we see, I'm just connecting dots right now, and then we see Neuralink and the stuff Elon Musk is whipping up. And now Elon Musk is buddy with Donald Trump. You know, I'm not saying that's necessarily they're all evil or whatever, but I mean, I do think Elon Musk is evil. But now he's buddy with Donald Trump. He's even on an even bigger platform than Elon Musk was on before. So y'all, you just have to put the puzzle pieces together. This is serious stuff, and I'm not trying to have a message of fear. I feel like I say that a lot in these videos. It's not a message of fear, but it's a message of knowledge, of awareness. So you're not just, oh, they got a microchip and I can pay. I can use my hand to pay. That's pretty cool. Oh, I don't have to carry my ID. It's on my forehead now. I don't have to worry about carrying a wallet anymore. It's like, y'all, don't fall for it. Even if they say you can't have food, you can't have money unless you get this mark, don't get the mark. Don't get the microchip, because you literally are going to go to hell. If you get this microchip, if you participate in this system, you're going to go to hell. You know, that's just plain and simple. So anywho, y'all, message of awareness. Get tapped into the world. We're getting a new president coming up. Things are about to change. We're about to see a lot of stuff happen in 2025. So anyways, y'all, hope this message reached y'all well. I love y'all. God bless y'all. And peace out.